Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. First, a request to all of you to please like this video. From today onwards, we are also going to be streaming live on Rumble. And this is a new platform. And what we are seeing is, ever since we carried the Maldives series 1, 2, and 3, seeing a lot of complaints, a lot of interference on our channel viewing. So we want to be sure that wherever we are, you can find us. You can go to youtube.com, type PGurus, and then you'll get all our videos. You can look at our new videos that way, because I'm not so sure the notifications are going to be coming in the same frequency as they were in the past. I'm just telling you because there are many inimical elements who don't want the truth to be told. That's the facts of the matter. We're not going to stop because of that. In fact, it makes us stronger, and we're going to fight back even harder. So let's welcome Sumit Pirji. Sumit ji, Ram Ram, kaise hain aap? Sumit ji, you are muted.
Ram Ram, Namaskar, Pranam, Vanakkam, all well and good. Mahakal ki kripa hai, aapka ashirwad hai. Ji.
Sir ji, sometimes we get into this banter where we start an English program speaking in Hindi, but that's okay. That is just to make sure that all of you are awake, right? You've got your popcorn, you've got your chai / Pepsi / Coke, whichever is your fancy drink. You can also have, there is something called Jeera Jal. I love that.
Jaljeera.
Jaljeera. So
fantastic. My favorite.
Yeah, my favorite. That is Ayurvedic jadi butiyon se bana sampurna Swadeshi drink. It's very good. Try that out also. So today, viewers, we are seeing a slight difference in the way the world powers are orienting themselves. For some reason, France has been kind of let loose a little bit, if you will. If you look at AUKUS, where French were supplying submarines to Australia, the US stepped in and said, thou shalt not buy the French submarines, thou shalt buy this submarine from US and this software from UK. Some shotgun marriage that was done. I'm sure France did not like it. France is not a small country. It has a lot of production capability. It can do a lot of things. And we are seeing a reflection of that, perhaps. I don't know. Sumit ji knows the situation on the ground. So let's welcome Sumit ji one more time. Sumit ji, I yield the floor to you. Take it away, sir. How do you see things?
Sir, in the name of Bhagwan Shri Ganesha, let's do the Shri Ganesha of this vlog. First of all, my request to all our brothers and sisters, kindly like this video. And we are said, sir, not reached 500,000 yet. You know, we are just 25,000 short, and we hope by Ram Mandir will be there. But I hope that our brothers and sisters are not going to disappoint us. It will be soon at 500K. And let me tell you one thing. I know Mr. Sree Iyer now for a lot of time. You know, he might have an American passport, but inka dil Hindustani hai. Wherever I go and talk to him for any issue which is of national interest, which is for Desh and Dharma, I can tell you it doesn't take him a second to say yes. I'm telling you on a public broadcast, it doesn't take him time to say yes. Theek hai, Sumit ji will do it, because that is what the country needs, that is what the Dharma needs. So if you support us, if you like the channel, if you subscribe to the channel, our voice will only get bigger. And that is the only thing what we request. I mean, that is the only thing how you can help. So kindly help us out so that we can have a bigger voice, we can reach more people, and you know, the mission continues. On that note, let's start today. Now, the first thing is Macron visits India, implications and ramifications. First of all, you have to understand, you know, geopolitically what is happening. France, in its vision, though France has scrapped its constitution, I think 21 times or 18 times. Now, the France, in his vision, says, I want to be a wartime economy of Europe. I want to be the savior of Europe, and I want to have a war chest. France officially has said, I want to have a war chest. So after Mr. Macron has taken on, some say Macron, I can't get the French pronunciation right, I'll call him Macron. After Mr. Macron has taken over the France, there is an emergence of, I would say, kind of a right-wing leadership which has come into France. And there have been times when Mr. Macron has called spade a spade. He's not shying away from calling things. And we and Mr. Macron have one thing very common. When it comes to terrorism, we call it spade a spade. When it's Islamic terror, we call it spade a spade. We are not mincing words. We are not trying to be politically correct. That is, you have to give credit to the man. He's a very bold, upcoming young leader of Europe. Bold, upcoming young leader of Europe, not of France, but of Europe. That's how I see Mr. Macron. And I have greatest respect of him. And I have not seen him do those duplicities, be a friend of China, be a friend of America, then talk about Pakistan and come back to India. No, that I have not seen him doing. That is another thing. One thing I must tell you again is that, France is the only economy in Europe which is still doing okay. We have already seen a lot of issues in the German economy. Germany is almost in recession. There are challenges in Italy, but in Italy, again, we have seen a very bold lady coming up, and she is fantastic. We simply, like her for the political stance she takes. And Ms. Giorgia Meloni, fantastic lady, great respect for her. Upcoming woman leader. Spain, India is trying to build its bridges. Spain is work in progress. Then, if you look at Europe, there are 4 or 5 countries which matter. It's France and Germany, and United Kingdom, you have Mr. Rishi Sunak. It's like, even if we keep it separate, then you have Spain, and then you have Italy. So these 4 or 5 countries, India has focused its energy. Yes, India's diplomacy is on. India is actively, I can tell you today, India is actively pursuing a lot of things. Now, what are those things? What are we doing in the long run? Well, that can't be spoken on a public broadcast. But I'm telling you, India is doing a lot of things which are good for the nation, which are good for the Europe as such. Now, Europe has a dependence on China, which is not good for Europe. Europe as such has a huge trade deficit with China, which is not good for Europe. Europe depending on China is not good. Europe's manufacturing depending on Chinese raw material is not good. Europe's supply chains depending on Chinese is not a good sign. And honestly, if they work with India and if they leave their inhibitions and their undercurrents, we can be the most viable alternate for Europe. They don't need to go to People's Republic of China. And some of the nationalist governments, I don't call them right-wing, I call them nationalist governments of President Macron, Giorgia Meloni, and all, they are realizing it. Germany is still here and there. We can see them, they're changing like the shades of the season, summer, autumn, winter, the things change. And UK has its own compulsions, how UK runs, the money stashed in UK, and UK has this Khalistani elements and all. So Spain, work in progress. I think Spain is looking good. Poland is looking good, but Spain, I would say, is work in progress. Now, there are a couple of things which happened in the past. Mr. Joe Biden was supposed to come on 26 January. Suddenly, Joe Biden says, I have a lot of engagements and I cannot make it. We told you on PGurus channel well in advance, but ultimately, it came out and we knew that it's going to happen. Immediately, Mr. Macron was reached, and I think within 24 hours or 48 hours, he confirmed that he is going to come to India. Now, what are the things, what are the ramifications, what are the implications? I will try to go point-wise so that it is easier for you to understand. And you will understand what is India doing to protect your interests, our interests, and interests of the world. Look, one thing which is very, very, very imminent in Europe is food crisis. There are 10 countries where farmers are on the roads. They are not cultivating anything. And it is going from bad to worse. There is Soros cabal which is behind it. There are people in US like Bill Gates who have taken huge land banks. There was one Chinese guy who was trying to take few thousand acres of land. I think that was stopped. And there are people who are now trying to control food, because if you control food, you control the people. It's as simple as that. You control the oil, you control the economy, you control the dollar, you control the leaders. But if you control the food, you control the people. So there's a lot of dissonance in the Europe, and Europe is getting into an imminent food crisis. The country which controls 40% of the food production is Bharat or India. That is why Prime Minister Modi that day told us that in the national interest, we might have to take back these formulas, because they were also trying it here. They knew where to hit first. If you get India out of the gear, and with Ukraine and Russia gone, with the wheat supplies from them distorted, now Europe, you have trouble, and the people who have acquired huge land masses in US, you know what the bigger game plan is. Control food. Control food, control people. That's the bigger game plan. So we are the people who control 40% of the wood. Bharat, not wood. That's point number one. So Mr. Macron and the Europe realizes this. If they don't realize we're doing it in English, whoever doesn't know it, I am candid, I am direct, know it, what is happening to you. There are people who want to control food. So we have 40% of the food. That's point number one. Our defense budgets are growing. Our foreign exchange reserves are swelling. $630 billion going tough. Our growth rate is 7.8%. We have a demographic dividend which will last for 70 to 100 years. We have today, as per Jyotish and all, we have next 70 years which belong to us. And I believe Jyotish is a science, it's not an art. Anybody who has apprehensions, please throw them in the next dustbin which you see, or the next or the dustbin near to you. So that is what is happening. What are the tangible takeaways? This is the broader picture. What is the tangible takeaways? 26 Rafale M fighter jets, which will go on our aircraft carriers. M is the version, which is the marine version. Now, we are also planning to increase the Rafale squadron. That is one. Second is there are at least 3 submarines which are on the list as on date. So that is immediate what can happen. Now, beyond that, if you remember, around 8 months back, we have allocated $25 billion as India for 125 multimodal attack or multimodal aircrafts. They are the 5th generation. They can be used for a lot of combat and air defense or whatever. So they can be used for a lot of roles. Now we have allocated around $25 billion. This is allocated for that, 125 birds. Who are the 2 players who are in competition? Today, if I look, when I scan through today the spectrum, I see only 2 players, Russians and French, because we have some challenges with Americans, so they're still being worked out. Now, Russia has supply chain issues, unfortunately, because of the Ukraine war, and there are a lot of sanctions on Russia, which can delay the things. Though Su-57 has been given to the Russian Air Force. So that's work in progress. We are partners there, but France has the capability to deliver us those aircraft. Recently, we had one more problem with Americans. The GE engine, which was supposed to get under technology transfer, that hit the roadblock. Now, America is a country wherein lobbies can operate at will. Organized corruption in America is called lobbying. You know how it works there. And you have lobbies who are quite powerful in United Kingdom also. So when it comes to America and UK, there's one thing common. The sun can rise from any side, depending upon who is after whom. So things can happen. If you see France, they are not powerful lobbies. There are not a lot of lobbies. Italy, again, there are some. They are not very powerful. Spain, I have not heard too many of them. But the quantum of lobbying which happens in America and UK, I think America is number 1, UK is number 2. Our GE deal has hit the rock bottom. French stepped in. They said, okay, Safran is ready to give us the engine and do the complete technology transfer. And let me tell you, today in Bangalore, we have a Safran plant. They are employing around 800 Indians. We are making around 250, 260 Shakti engines. We call it the Shakti engine. And now the ramp up will happen to 1,000 engines. Now for the engine requirements of India for Tejas and all, Tejas is a much superior aircraft. If you compare it with GF-17, if you compare it with the Korean version or any other version, look at the number of touchwood, no crash, no engine failure, no crash landing or no emergency landing. Nothing happened in the Tejas. But if you compare the data from others, I won't even bring in GF-17. I call it junk fighter under 18. That's a piece of junk. Everybody is grounded GF-17. So the challenge here is that, for this and for our Tejas Mark II and for AMCA, we need engines. So the crystal blade technology and all was coming from GE, but again, who played which card and who was influencing, who something, but it has hit. French came and said, okay, we'll give you the engines. Submarines, French came and will do the complete technology transfer. Is going to happen. Sir, aap kuch keh rahe the? Ji.
A couple of things I wanted to add to what you said. Sumit, see, there is an indirect way, I see it, right? I mean, I could be wrong about this. There's an indirect way that India is hinting to countries like United States, Canada, and United Kingdom that, look, we don't like the way you are supporting Khalistani terrorists. So we have to tell you, this is not just words. Now we are going to show you in deeds. Every time there is a slip up in terms of a deal falling through, let's say with US General Electric engine, crystal blade technology, India is able to go to France. France itself is actually chafing from the fact that they got dropped from Australia. They were going to supply them submarines, and US stepped in and said, no, these submarines are not good. We will give you the submarines. UK will give you the software. There's a new identity, a new formation called AUKUS, AUKUS. And that left France high and dry. And France is a manufacturing country, and also it doesn't quite suffer from the same kind of lobbying that you said. That's very correct. France is a country, and it's also a very friendly country. I've traveled the length and breadth of France, and 20, 30 years ago, it was difficult to get by if you did not know you working French. But now, when you try to strike conversations, they are very friendly. They talk to you in English, very good English, as a matter of fact. And you can get by. I mean, you have to also do a little bit of effort to try and speak some French yourself. I have tried that. And I used to have a book that will tell me simple phrases, right? And it's been a beautiful experience. So what I think is India is hinting to US and UK and all that is, look, we will do business, but don't keep doing this, poking in the back. I'm already telling you, I think PGurus is the only channel that has connected the dots about the US's interference with some of these units that are trying to take a crack at Myanmar's junta. We are one of the few people who have connected the dots, and we said, look, this is what is happening. So and there is more happening there that we'll be covering more. People are not understanding the grave implications of what is happening in Manipur today. It's a very, very serious situation that is developing there. Again, all this stuff is not possible without external help. Whether it is, see, this is the interesting thing there. I'm going to yield the floor back to you, Sumitji.
No worries, take your time.
So in Bangladesh, India and China sort of like the fact that Sheikh Hasina became the chief prime minister. In Myanmar, China and US want to have trouble for India. So it's just like, come on now, why can't we define who's good and who's bad? What is going on here? Anyway, so these are all some of these geopolitical complex equations that are coming up. Viewers, I'll yield the floor back to Sumitji. I just want to tell you one last thing. We really need your help to get to 500,000 in just one channel. And we also are needing your help to use PGurus 2, that is the second English channel, as well as Hindi and Tamil. The reason I'm saying all this is, as we speak truth, there is, see, look, I'm sure about this, okay? Algorithmically, you can game YouTube or any content provider to think that there is something very bad about a certain video. I mean, in the first 15 minutes, 5,000 hits come in. And these are all actually server labs, where if you see racks and racks of smartphones, each one having its own IP address, all they do is ek return mar diya. So everybody goes and says the same thing, that this is offensive and this should be taken down. So the way out for that is two things. One is you subscribe to our channel, grow the heft of it, because there is also some value given to how many subscribers a particular channel has, and proportionally the algorithm adjusts itself. So you can just go, can you bring up the pgurus.com, please? We'll show you a very simple way to auto subscribe. And if you just scroll down on our pgurus.com, just go down a little bit more, you see here it's auto subscribe. As soon as you click on any one of those 4 entries, English, Tamil, Hindi, or all, then you will see the YouTube icon show up. Just click on that, and then you are subscribed to all those channels that you are choosing. This way, what happens is, with one click, you're subscribing to many of our channels. Don't worry, you will not get notifications on all these 4 unless you click on the bell button of that channel. Once you do that, then you will get notifications. But the point I think I'm trying to make is, that we provide you with quality content. And we would like to get the Hindi programming moved to PGurus Hindi. We are not there yet. And one of the reasons for that is the slow growth on the PGurus Hindi platform, which is why we came up with this. I'm going to stop my lecture now and request all of you to use this feature so that you can auto subscribe to all our channels. Sumitji, I'm sorry to have taken this time.
No, perfectly all right, sir. And let me add on to what you said. One I know, because I'm sharing my personal experience with Mr. Iyer. Though by passport, by citizenship, he's American, but I've seen very few Americans who will come and talk some of the underbelly of America, which is not so good. Usually people will say, why should I talk? Let me avoid the subject. But I see Mr. Iyer, he will talk. He will say, no, this is what it is here and this is what is happening here. You don't see this conviction in a lot of people. So that you have to appreciate. That's why I told you, Dil Hindustani. Passport may be American, but the Dil is Hindustani. So you have to appreciate that, and you have to help guys and see what best you can do to help us. That is a request, because we want to speak the truth. Our mission is truth. Our mission is national interest. That's what the whole idea is. Now coming back to the subject. So the one is this engines which we need badly, and so France sees as a good thing. Second, we will need more submarines, and China has got 40 submarines out of the gear. Now we are ramping our submarines. There's also a talk in the diplomatic and the defense circles that frigates from India might be exported to France, because we can make them quite fast and we can make them at a much cheaper price. So if we're getting submarines from them, we might be exporting frigates to them. So that is also talk which is happening. Another aspect which we're missing, France, there are 2 major aircraft manufacturers in the world, Boeing and Airbus. Boeing is American, Airbus is French. and Airbus manufacturing happens out of Toulouse. I had this EADS as one of my customers. So I've been numerous times to France, and especially to Toulouse and then to Spain and all, just loafing around and all when you had weekends and all, nothing to do. So the thing is that it is humongous and they have that repute. I've seen the first 380 when it was done. I was there at that time. So, this is France. And who is the biggest manufacturer or who is the biggest order giver of aircrafts today? It is India. It is Bharat. Bharat has given the biggest orders in the history for aircraft. Between Air India and Indigo, I think there are more than 500 planes which have gone to EADS. And there are more airlines which are going to give orders, because our CAGR of domestic aircraft market is around 22%, 22, 23%. We will have the fastest growing aviation sector. So for that point of view, again, India becomes important for America. Again, India becomes important for France. But America, as I told you, there are lobbies which rule the roost. So here in France, luckily, we don't have that problem. Still, the national interests prevail. That is also one of the interests of Mr. Macron. So he has interests in food. He has interests in submarines. He has interests in frigates. He has interests in Rafale. He has interests in engines. And he has interests in commercial aircrafts. Right? And let me tell you another piece of news. The biggest MRO, wherein you can do repair operations, overhauling of aircrafts and all. The biggest MRO of Rafale is coming up in India. So all the Rafale sold in Middle East, in East Asia, West Asia will be not serviced from France, will be serviced from India. So they are also willing to do that. Though Boeing has opened a big facility in Bangalore, I have to tell you that also, which is recently commissioned. It is doing that. And the second biggest MRO of Lockheed Martin after Canada will be opened in India, though that is also happening. We have to be equal and fair to all. So Rafale is also doing that in India. So French are investing time, energy, and money, giving employment and doing it. So they see India as a big market. So the point I'm trying to make is France sees us as a country, sees us as a person which is willing to do a partnership and willing to go with them, which in the mutual interest. There's one more interest which France has from us. French need UPI. Japan has already asked for us. UPI is already in 40 countries. France needs UPI. And we want to sell it them to French or give it them to French. Why? Because if we give it them to French, we'll enter Europe. And once we enter Europe, we'll get, if we have to go into 3, 4, 5 countries, you will just scale through the whole Europe. Now, important thing, just 2 or 3 days back or 10 days back, there was, I think tweeted it or I sent it to somebody. I sent you a picture wherein UPI for the first time was used between India and Singapore to do business to business transfer of money, not individual to business to business. Let's say a corporate through a bank to a bank in India and a corporate in India. It happened for the first time. The transaction was done around 8-10 days back. So here SWIFT or any other mode of international payments, which is American control, was avoided and UPI was used. So in the long run, we are looking for that. We are looking the UPI to go to France, and maybe in the long run, India and France can transact through UPI. That is a part of our vision statement, and we want to do that. I'm very candid with that. There's also a talk of FTA. Yes, FTA is on the cards. Is a local currency as a euro and a rupee trading possible? Yes, it is possible. Do we have hiccups? We have minimalistic hiccups, but we are working out. But the challenge we have in our FTAs is that everybody wants to do FTA. With UK wants to do first, Germany wants to do first. Even French are interested, but everybody wants special conditions. Our problem as Bharat is we cannot have special conditions for everybody. Then everybody's special conditions impact somebody else. So that fundamentally limits our capability of doing a lot of FTAs. So we want to have pretty much stable conditions or standard conditions. And we would be very keen, I'll be very honest with you, we'll be very keen to have rupee trading with most of the countries. And whoever walks the talk will be very ready to do the FTA. So FTA, what will FTA do? FTA will enable French companies to sell in India. And FTA will also enable France to delink itself from, China. Google ties for UPI. Ye bhi ho gaya ji. This is also done. Now, the French decoupling is very, very important for France. FTA, along with strategic partnership with India, will help Macron to decouple from China. So that is a very, very important step which he is going to take. So Italy is already talking that. So these are the things which are on the table. Now, Mr. Macron landed in Jaipur today. Now, Prime Minister Modi went from Delhi to Jaipur. They met, they went to this tea palace and all. and they had dinner in Rambagh Palace. And then they will be coming to Delhi tonight or tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we have this 26th January where he'll be the guest of honor. And let me tell you, friends, since May to this time, Abhi, it's how much months, sir? It's last May to this time, almost a year and more, or slightly more. They have met 5 times officially. Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Macron have met 5 times officially. Now, and French now are the most invited people or the country in our Republic Day celebration. So these are 2 important points I want to make you. 5 times they have met officially, and though I'm not counting those sideline meetings and all. And then French are the most invited country in our Republic Day. And though the official relations with France do not go long back, but the quantum of trade and the quantum of trust and brotherhood goes very well. They like India because India has a civilizational country. They like it. You know, France also prides about its civilization, paintings, color, pottery, and India also prides the same. Today in the itinerary, it was also there that they are going to see some handicrafts market. They are going to have a masala tea, Mr. Macron and Modi. And then they are going to buy that Rajasthan. We have this blue pottery, which is very known. So blue pottery and those some local sightseeing, including Hawa Mahal and the famous Jaipur market and all that. So they are going to do that. So French love culture. They appreciate culture. India has a lot of culture. We love their culture. They love our culture. We respect their culture. They respect our culture. So there is a very, French is a very old civilization. So there's a civilizational connect as well. One more thing. France is the 2nd biggest supplier of arms to India today. 2nd biggest. The quantum of trade is big, and when you supply arms, then your AMCs, then your maintenance, then your upgrades. So the story keeps on going. It's not one deal is done. No, the AMCs will come, the spares will come, then the upgrades will come. So the deals keep on happening. So there's always some POs which keep on rolling, and the money keeps on changing hands. That's another thing. Another aspect is there's a very good chemistry between Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Macron. And let me tell you another secret. Mr. Macron has very good chemistry with whom? Guess whom? MBS.
No.
MBS.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He has very good chemistry with MBS. And at times, I have heard, sir, mere ko nahi pata, I have heard from some here and there that at times, if you want to send a message to MBS, you can even talk to Mr. Macron. The message will go by line and word to MBS. So these 2 guys are good buddies. MBS and Macron go very well, and what I heard and known, the relation is not between the heads of the states. They're like those friends. Hey, what is up, buddy? What's up? Okay, let's catch up and all that. So, and with this de-dollarization going on, with a lot of geopolitical changes going on, with a lot of tussles in the geopolitics, so France is trying to cement its position in the global politics. So French are very smart. They are trying to, roadshow at PM Modi, French President Macron. Roadshow bahut bada ho raha. Massive roadshow is happening in, PM and this PM Modi and Macron in there. You can see. And usually in France and all, Europe gets it. And you see here, I was trying to make a point. French are very smart. They want to build relations with India. Between India and China, I think they have chosen India. And they are very keen to build relations with Saudis, MBS, because they see MBS is doing a lot of changes, and we'll see these videos.
Yeah, please play that one. Please play that one. Ayodhya Ram Mandir. We had asked, remember, Sumit ji?
Sir.
Same thing, guys. See this design, it is going places.
Sir, we have been even requesting that, this French delegation should be taken to Ayodhya after the Republic Day and all there, because they will be blessed by Bhagwan Shri Ram, and it will be good for France, and it will be good for the friendship. So they should be taken to Ayodhya. And so what French are doing, they are trying to build relations with India over China. They are trying to build relations with Saudis over Iran. So these people are trying to also become a geopolitical power. And let me tell you, France is also interested in becoming a part of Quad. Somewhere down the line, they have expressed this desire, but is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? That is what we want to see. France knows that you have to be in Indian Ocean. If you want to be a big geopolitical player, you have to have some foothold in the Indian Ocean. And if you want to be in Indian Ocean, India is the country and Prime Minister Modi is the person to get hold of. So Mr. Macron is doing everything which is in the interest of France, and we are doing everything which is in the interest of India and Bharat. And both are trying to get the ends match and reach a consensus wherein both the countries develop and both the countries function. And let me tell you, there's a huge tourist potential between India and France. There are millions of Indians which go to France, and there is a quite number of French tourists which come to India. Now, with these tourist exchanges and all happening, that all things can come, really grow up. So if we can really have a good synergy, the French supply chains should be linked to Indians. Then the quantum of business which we are talking will go beyond weapons, will go beyond UPI, will be a huge quantum of business. And then, it will resonate a thought in the Europe. Look, Italians are very keen to do this, but are Germans keen to do it? I still don't think, because 40% of the spares come still from China. So will Germany follow suit? Then will Spain? And eventually UK has its geopolitical compulsions and all. Then, we have to see how does the UK go. Mr. Rishi Sunak has a lot of compulsions. So there is a very good momentum which is building. There's a very good momentum. And let me tell you, Prime Minister Modi has went down to Jaipur and received him and taking him around and all. Now in India, we have started doing one more thing, sir. When it is Mr. Sheikh Al-Nayan, we took him in a roadshow. When anybody comes, we take him in a roadshow. And these leaders usually are not used to these roadshows. They're not used to so many people and all. You see, last time Donald Trump said, I've never seen so many people. I'm just amazed. How can you do it in India? And amidst security concerns and all, we are able to manage. We are sending a very, very powerful message. And what I like about France and Mr. Macron is, when it comes to terrorism, he does not mince his words. When it comes to Islamic terror, he doesn't mince his words. So these like-minded countries are getting together. Like-minded leaders are getting together. And this is how the new world order is slowly shaping. And besides that, we have cooperation in mineral oils, we have cooperation in refining, we have cooperation in high-tech, we have cooperation in artificial intelligence, tourism, culture, education. And by the way, there's one good news for the people who are in France. I think right now we have around 10,000 students who study in France. Now the quota will be increased to 30,000. So whatever we are losing from Canada and all, that is compensated by France already. And another good news for students is, earlier they, after completing their course, they were given few months to live in France and try for a job or whatever. Now that duration is increased by 2 years. So even after completing your course, you can be 2 years in France, trying to find a job, trying to do something and all. So you have a good opportunity. If you want to settle in France, you will get these 2 years. And let me tell you one thing, there is nothing as beautiful as French countryside, especially southern France, because I have traveled extensively. Nothing is more beautiful than that. That is my personal experience. I mean, don't take the highway, go through the villages. Just come down, go through the villages, don't take the highway. Highway, you don't see anything. You only see those deers crossing the roads, but go through the villages, mesmerizing. So that is what is happening between France and India. That is a synopsis of what has been happening and what we have been trying to do. And this is what Prime Minister Modi has in mind. And another thing before I end this, we have 3 more agendas. 3. Wait for 2 days. You will come to know them in the news. I can't talk about it. 3 more things you will come to know. 3 big ticket announcements.
Sumitji, I have done the same thing. I flew down from London to Cannes. It's called Cannes. Whenever there's a consonant at the end, French don't pronounce it. Like, for example, it is not Paris, it is Paris. So I got down in Cannes, and then we drove along the Mediterranean, and we stayed at we were going to a place called Gemenos, Gemenos, where they used to have a lot of these SIM cards based commerce and things like that. A couple of big companies, and we were having meetings there. And we drove down through that thing. What you said is very true. The rural countryside is just breathtakingly beautiful. I stayed at a house, which is actually a hotel. There are like 6-7 rooms that they give out. So it's not like a big hotel, but like it's personalized. They ask you what kind of breakfast you want, and they serve you that, and it worked out very well. It was a very, very pleasant experience that I had. So I just wanted to echo what you said, Sumitji. So let's now kind of conclude this and then take up some questions, because we have a hard stop. We have our gangbuster Hindi program on our great neighbor Pakistan. I'm also hearing there's a new press conference that they have had today, just moments ago. We will touch upon that in the Hindi.
Yeah, we will touch upon that.
Yeah.
So, new flavor of 𝗤𝗏𝗃𝗃.
Yes.
And let me recommend you, my friends, this French and Indian partnership and relation is going to grow leaps and bounds, because Prime Minister Modi exactly knows where it is going to end. He will think the end first before he starts. That's what is Modi about. He exactly knows where he has to go and how he has to go. If you see him giving so much of attention and care, imagine 3 big announcements will come definitely. It is much beyond that. So the relations is going to go leaps and bounds. If you have business interests in France and all, it's all going to look good. And my recommendation is next time go to Toulouse, and there's a place called 𝗤𝗏𝗃𝗁. Go to 𝗤𝗏𝗃𝗁. It's a very old site. Go in the evening and you go through those small alleys and all, and have some snacks or rice or whatever you want. If you're a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, you will love the place. And then I went to Spain, I went to Barcelona driving, had the Spira, and all the things. But I had to take out those meat pieces only of the rice. So that's a different issue with me. But for the people who are who eat, that's perfect place, and that I will recommend. And go through these villages. Don't hit the highway. So on that note, I think we should end right now, because the time we have to start the next one in time, and we'll take some questions.
Yeah, questions please. Anshuman Singh wants to know, Sri sir, one thing is for sure, BJP has breached the swing voter of South. We can see on social media. The question is, will the traditional voter shift, and won't be surprised if BJP gains more in Tamil Nadu? Your views. Anshuman Singh ji, I will be covering this in depth with Sri Ram Seshadri. He actually is visiting Bay Area. I'm going to have a face-to-face with him. We'll have a sit-down conversation. It will be a little different from just having this kind of a conversation. So look forward to that one. We'll give you the latest on-the-ground situation. A lot of things changing. The Srirangam trip, Rameshwaram trip, and Dhanushkodi, 3 important places that Modi visited in Tamil Nadu. Halchal mach gayi. It's a revolution in Tamil Nadu. These guys are not able to. The fact that DMK was so shell-shocked that they said on the 22nd of January, you cannot conduct pujas, you cannot do Annadanam. What nonsense. People had to go to High Court and then to Supreme Court to stop the government from doing this. This tells you these guys are running 𝐻..○.
Correct. Can't agree more.
Kesar wants to know, today roadshow of Modi Macron would have rattled 5 Chaudhary. Does 5 eyes losing its sheen?
Jai Mahakal. You're right.
There has to be a balance. Yeah, you don't ignore anybody. You just have to have a balance, and I think that will come back. Americans are very shrewd. Okay, they're very business-minded. They're not going to just let some loony sitting in Department of State saying that thou shalt do this, thou shalt do that. Not for long. Just see how many people are going to get purged soon. Just next one, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Jai Sri Ram, I suspect that Modiji doesn't do much with elections in mind. When priority is always Bharat, electoral benefits automatically come. Your views, Sumitji?
I think Ranga sir can't agree more. It's based, Modiji's all actions are based on Bhagavad Gita. The intention of karma determines the outcome of karma. If your intentions are good, your heart is clean, everything will fall in place. It might take a little bit of time. You might have a little bit of hardships here and there, but eventually it will fall in place. Let me tell you, sir. So I understand politics may be 1 inch out of a football field, electoral politics. But I can tell you based on my experience, nobody can game people in today's time. If you think you can game people, you can manage and manipulate their minds, it is impossible in the time of social media. Today, social media has become more powerful than mainstream media. Let me tell you, and I'm giving mainstream media 5 years. Within 5 years, if they don't change the formats and the way they operate, the social media will evolve so much that there will be no space left for mainstream media. So the tables are going to completely turn. In the time of social media, you cannot control people's mind. It's only hardcore karma, hardcore intentions that control. When you have Bharat on your mind, the reflection is there. You've seen that. We've shown you on PGurus channel the videos from Tamil Nadu. You've seen the people. seen those 90-year-old ladies, you've seen the love, the affection. And these people don't even understand Hindi, and Mr. Modi doesn't speak Tamil. But you've seen the connect. The connect is at the intention level. The connect is at the adhyatmic level. The connect is at the level where people resonate with people. That is what is happening. And let's not forget, Mr. Annamalaya is doing a fantastic job on the ground. And when the people with pure intentions come and hit the ground, you will see, but naturally, the outcome will be better, sir. So it is just the purity of intention what is mattering.
Thank you so much, sir. I have an announcement before we go to the next one. We got a second set of Sengols. We have about 5 or 10 left. So those of you who want to buy it, you can order it now, and we'll be finishing up this stock. And we are working on trying to make it possible to be bought in India. That is the next project for Sengol. But I have a few left for US, though 5 or 6 maximum maybe. Most of them are spoken for. So if you want to rush in your Sengol order, please do so right away. Thank you so much. Next question, please. Milind Joshi says, do we expect any G to G deal take place between Indian Air Force and this time's Macron's visit?
Milind ji, you have to wait for 3 big announcements. I can't talk more. Rest your horses. 2 days more.
Next one, please. Partha wants to know, where has the American nuclear submarine deal reached with Australia? Will this further push Indo-French relations?
Indo-French relations, Parthaji, I can assure you one thing, are on a trajectory up, because in France, I touched the most important point. Though Americans also want to have great relations with India, it's not America doesn't want, but the lobbies are so powerful there. You know, they can twist and turn things the way they want. But fortunately in France, we don't have so much of lobbying, or it's not so prevalent. So in France, you know, if the 2 guys in the top agree on something, it will happen. Look, we had a government-to-government deal for affairs also, right? There were a lot of things we have done government-to-government, and in France, things work. But even with the challenge with the US is that even if we want to do that, still there can be problems. You don't know where the problems will crop from. And let me tell you, these Pakistanis and a lot of, Chinese and all, they have a lot of influence in US. They don't have so much of influence in France. That is an important factor here.
Remember, guys, I talked about macro advisory partners and the kind of role that they play. There are 3 big guys from that company. Bill Burns, the director of CIA, National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, and the most important one, Victoria Nuland. All 3 are from macro advisory partners. Look up my video. Who runs macro advisory? One Iranian American and one Pakistani American. Are you telling me that they are more loyal to America than their home countries? Muslims have shown that they are not. Right? Their first loyalty is to Islam. This is the problem that they have to sort out. I've been telling for the longest time, the moderates need to speak up. Unless you do that, everybody is going to be tarred with the same brush. You guys are you guys are toast. That's all I can tell you. Sorry.
Even sir, I have been on national TV. I've been very vocal. I'm saying, where are the moderate Muslims? Why nobody is speaking up? Because if you don't speak up, exactly your point of view, you will be painted with the same brush. You have to speak up. The renaissance within the Islamic world has to come from within. It's not some crusader or somebody. You have to. Where is the renaissance? You had crusades in Christianity, you had renaissance. Okay, reconciliation. But where is the reconciliation? I don't see even an iota happening somewhere.
Next one, please. Vinod Pandey, thank you so much for your gift. Thank you, Jyotishmati. Welcome back. We were missing you for a few days. Shenbagamuttu Rahul, 27. Any update on the nuclear power plant project by French company?
Let me tell you one thing. France is the country which produces 27% of the energy from nuclear, and there is work which is going on there. We are also working on the thorium-based reactors. So there's a lot of work happening there. And this work is separately going on. And France is a contender there. But I can't tell you right now it will go to a French company. I have no information.
Next one, please. Jakpreet Batra wants to know, Sumitji, the best thing of this alliance is it will give strategic independence, which they are also longing for, like Bharat, sir. Your views?
Of course, this will. Because you see, France, even in this alliance in the Red Sea, I think French are not there, to best of my knowledge. French and Italians are backed out. Because they are also tired of, because for UK, there is no, if you look at the UK and America, the economy is kind of like this. It's entangled. 60-70%. So even Rishi Sunak wants, he cannot move away. He has to go with the Americans. While as France and Italians are taking those decisions, they're taking on a situation-based decision. It's not Europe will follow America. They're taking on a situation based on what works in their interest. So I'm telling you, Macron is doing some very smart steps. He is trying to decouple from China, and he's openly talking about it. Giorgia Meloni is equally talking about it. And let me tell you, there are people who want to destabilize the French government, who want to destabilize Macron, and who want this Islamic terror to increase in in France. And with this population, with this invasion of immigrants of Islamic faith happening in the Europe is heading for a big time crisis. And don't forget, sir, I take my word today, there's going to be a food security major issue in Europe. I am seeing cultivation season is going. Koi cultivation nahi kar raha hai. There's a major issue. I don't know why the media is not talking about it. It's a major issue.
Next one, please. Ravish Katyal wants to know, Jai Shri Ram, are we also signing another Rafale deal as we have to increase our squadrons? Where does Tejas stand among this? We explained to you about the Tejas part. Sir, go ahead.
Raviji, we need 26, I believe the number is for Rafale. M is the marine version. It has a different features and specs, which can land on aircraft carrier and all that. So we are signing that. Because currently, I think we have MiG-29s and some of them are phasing out. So we will have Rafale and MiG-29s. Then, for the Tejas and Tejas Mark 1, Mark 2 and AMCA, we need the engine. Saffron will come in there. Then we have 125 fighters, multimodal, I think MMDRA you call it. MMDRA is multimodal. They are for defense, attack, whatever. 5th generation. We have kind of allocated $21 to $25 billion for that. So the top two contenders as on date, it is between Russians and it is between the French. And the Americans are also there, but there are some challenges and limitations which we are trying to work on, because one of them is a technology transfer. And then with the challenge with the Americans, anyway, if you agree on something, then in the midway, some spanner might come in, right? Because lobbies can do what they want to do still. And these lobbies are not pro-America. Let me also clarify you. They might be working for China. They might be working for China. Money might come from China to scuttle a deal. So if American Action Car loses, it's okay. They are just bothered about their money. I mean, I was reading something so frightening today, how people are being paid millions of dollars to scuttle some major projects in the world. I mean, was mind-boggling what I read today.
It's called economic terrorism. Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Next
you look
one,
at this Hindenburg hit and run. Look what happened. Ji.
Balaji Narsimhan, thank you so much for your donation. The French came to India as traders and colonized parts of us. How do we ensure we don't repeat the same mistake our ancestors did? Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram, sir. First of all, you are a nuclear triad today. Then India was an amalgamation of 500 princely states or kingdoms. Today it's one united India. Thirdly, nobody can come and colonize you. Nobody will live to see that day. When you are a nuclear triad, you don't have to worry about that. And today, India has the third most powerful army, navy, and air force in the world. Those days are gone. And, yes, we have to be careful that the FDAs are done in the interest of India. We have to be careful we don't sign MOUs with China, the infamous MOU with China. We have to be careful on that. And as long as Mr. Modi is on the chair, I can guarantee you it's India first, Bharat first. India's interest will never be compromised. If it would have to compromise, he got a million opportunities so far to do it. If he has not done it so far, there's no chance he's going to do it any far after this.
Next one, please. Thank you, thought provocateur. Another unknown monkey visited Ram Mandir for darshan.
Jai Shri Ram.
Pavan Rao wants to know, question to Sumit ji, how does India increase irrigated lands? We have a lot of drought-prone states which have fertile lands.
The concept is very important. One of the important aspects of which I expect government to address soon is that we have to join the rivers. A lot of that is done. A lot of that is work in progress. But still, we have this politics going on in states and all that. And eventually, joining the rivers and getting this drip irrigation and all the things are which we have to do it. We have to increase the quantum of fertilizer going into the land. We have to go more into organic and natural farming and increase the yield per hectare. Our challenge is to yield per hectare and the number of people involved in the farming, though it has come down, it is not 10 out of 7 now. I think it must be around 3.5, 4, somewhere around that. But still, it's too high. We cannot have more than 8 to 10% people doing farming. But here, brother, the question is, what will these people do? That is why Make in India has to come in. These people have to be productively, employed in industries, so that, today, what happens? Let's say it's a village in the house. There's a father, there are 2 sons, and there's 1 grandson, there's a grandmother. You go and do a survey. What are you doing? Kisan hai. Everybody say I'm a kisan, because that is so. But how many of them are actually doing farming? Right? On paper you might have 5. So we don't want I have 5 kisans from a family. We want 1 kisan from family. We want others. We want to have cooperatives. That is why I've been always stressing, and I've been always shouting my lungs out wherever we need cooperatives. Though that is already done. At every district, we should have a cooperative so that our mothers and sisters can be employed there. When we have industry, our younger guys who are able-bodied and all, who can be working in industry, and the farmer can still be, and the father can still be a farmer. This is what we want. We want to create. That is why Make in India and cooperatives are very important, because that will help us, free people from agriculture sector, because they are unproductively employed. They are not doing anything. They will all say, "Hamji kisan hai." But actually, how many of them are kisan? How many of them are doing the hardcore farming? So yield per hectare has to increase, and the number of people in farming cannot be more than 7 to 9%. That is what my estimate and calculation says.
Putin-Xi alliance. Thank you so much. Major Arya posted today that Modi sir has spoken to highest officials in NSA RAW to prepare for war with China. Raksha Mantri said China can control climate. Can share opinion on these 2 points, sir?
Sir, I'm not sure about this post. Neither can I comment on anybody's opinion. Everybody is entitled to his own opinion. But I don't know that Mr. Modi has spoken to NSA and RAW. And if at all Mr. Modi has spoken, do you think this news is so common that it will be available in open market, and then you will know what he has spoken to NSA, what he has spoken to RAW, and then I can come on a YouTube and tell you this is what Modi spoke best of his 2 men? That is Modi, sir. Give me a break. Jai.
Next one, please. ख़ुशी again. Thank you so much. Sumit sir, moderate Muslim Islam is a delusion. Can you share one moderate act of Prophet Muhammad did in his lifetime, since he is their best example? MBS is doing a lot of things.
I am telling you, sir, I'm telling you, with time everything has to change. But I'm telling you, even don't take me otherwise. There are a lot of Muslims who are moderate. If all Muslims are fanatic and all, the world will be a different place. But as moderates are not speaking, as they are scared, as they are not coming out, that is why fanatics are ruling the roast. It's not about, let's not talk about the Prophet. This is 1400 years back. So let's talk about what you can do today. What can be done today? So we should not do what has been done 1400 years back and try to mix and match the situations today. No. What can be done today in today's context is that what should be discussed and deliberated. So we have to talk what is being done today, and this is what has to be done. I think the best example is people have to come up, moderates have to speak. And let me tell you, the number of ex-Muslims is rising drastically in the world. And Sri sir, I have to divert for 30 seconds. If you remember my one of the vlogs with you guys, I told you that there's a lot of Islamic text. There's a lot of Islamic teachers, and some say that even the Prophet has said, I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me there, that there will be an event in India in 2024. After that event, the Islam will start shrinking, and by 2048, in next 24 years, it would have shrunk substantially. That is why PFI had this call to action year 23. PFI as this year went to convert India into Islamic country 47, not 48. Right? They had those fancy plans which are now. That is why everybody, wherever he got power in the world since last 1300 years, is only coming to India to do Ghazwain, because somebody told them if India converts to Islam, then this process can be stopped. And if this process doesn't stop, the Qayamat will not come. The Qayamat, so if you have to have the Qayamat, that is the judgment day, if the Qayamat has to come, Ghazwa Hind has to happen. If the Ghazwa Hind has to happen, it has to happen before 2024. Now, the only celestial event which I see happening in 2024 is Bhagwan Shri Ram ki Pran Pratishta. So has this event occurred? Is this event going to change your world? If you ask me, as a Sanatani, as an Adhyatmic person, As a spiritual person, I'll tell you this event will not change only India. This is going to change a lot of things in the world. Take me in writing, sir. I'm willing to stretch out my neck and telling you, you will see in next 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, a lot of things in the world will change. And one prediction, there'll be villages, there'll be cities, there'll be land masses, which will come and want to get converted to Sanatan Dharma. Again, I'm predicting you from day one. Take my word.
Soumitra Vagolikar wants to know, we saw unification of Hindus in the name of Lord Rama. Just 2 days after this momentous occasion in Maharashtra, I saw rallies of Marathas demanding reservations, which confuses me.
Soumitra ji, you see, whenever you see a rally, how many people are in a rally? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 1 lakh. How many Hindus are there? 150 crores. So because politicians and vested interests want to create some drama. So these 10,000, do they represent 1.5 crore? 150 crores? No. What is 10,000 of 1.5 crore, 150 crores? Not even 0.1%. So let's not get confused. These, you see, other side will always try to do something. Other side is not going to be like this. Okay, you have won. Thank you very much. Good, good. They are going to hit back. They are going to try things. They are going to try tricks. Still, a lot of efforts will be done to kind of break the Hindu society. Again, caste division. Again, religion. Again, this sectarian divide, language divide, skin color division, Brahman versus Brahman division. All kind of divisions will be tried. Every division will be tried, right? Demonizing one section of the society. But, you know, Bhagwan Shri Ram, Pran Pratishtha has given us that occasion where we stand united as Hindus. I have been always saying, Om, Hindu, and Bharat. These are the only 3 identities we have. And Bhagwan Shri Ram is for everybody. And Bhagwan Shri Ram is not for one particular caste or sector. It's for everybody, including non-Hindus. Including non-Hindus. Because when Ramarajya was there was no Islam, there was no Christianity, there was no other panth. There was only one Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, and that is what we have to remember. So very soon, world is going to remember this. And people like me will keep on shouting their lungs out till the time it reaches some years and it reaches some years. And then when somebody thinks, hey, this guy is right? It happened like that. So, bhai, where is the problem?
Thank you so much, Sumitji. With that, we bring to close this episode, and we'll be back in half an hour's time in Hindi on our neighbor, Pakistan. A lot of things are happening there. Do watch that one in bigger numbers. Please don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications if you've already subscribed. And like I told you, you can use auto subscribe feature from PGurus.com to subscribe to all our channels with just one click. Thanks once again, Sumitji. We'll see you on the other side in half an hour.
Namaskar, Pranam, and Bharat Mata ki Jai, Vande Mataram, and Hara 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 Mahadev.
Thank you.